Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus, bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. Today my opponent chose to play as the dwarfs, little stunty jerks that they are, and I decided to bring the Empire. So let's take a look at the build real quick. We alternate great swords and swordsmen, 4 of each. Behind them we have 3 handgunners. Our air crew is an Amber Wizard, the General of the Empire, and an Empire Captain. And then Vanguard deployed up here in the forest. Oh so sneaky and oh so cool. The Outriders with grenade launchers. My opponent, pretty darn good dwarf army here. And as you're going to see, he plays it very well. He has a front line consisting of 5 Longbeards. He also has the Grumbling Guard and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, as well as the Dragonback Slayers. So quite a bit of regiments of renown, 4 in total, including the Goblobber. He also has 2 Quarreler units, and he has Thorgrim Grudgebear, and not 1, but 2 Runesmiths. So let's go ahead and see how this plays out. So I have these guys forward deployed, and you know, I get my infantry moving and get my flying corps moving. I got to notice that, you know, his archer's a little far away from this Longbeard over here. You know, his Goblobber's firing here in the meantime. So I decided to go up and why not take a few shots at these Longbeards with the Outriders. So let's see how that goes. I love these explosions. Just so cool. Just chucking nades. Dwarfs falling on their butts everywhere. And he, of course, you know, very wisely, he brings the Quarrelers over, and I'm going to decide that was enough fun for now and pull back into the forest out of the range of his units. I also, over on this side, I put down a Flock of Doom Overcast, and you see it did quite good damage to the units over on this side. I just like Flock of Doom against anybody that's going to have a tendency to blob up or have a lot of units close together, and that almost always is the case with the dwarfs. You know, they're smaller, and people tend to build these little little boxes and keep everything tight so they can get the effects of the Runesmith and their king, or if they go with the the Master Rune dude, they just congregate around all their buffs and runes and stuff like that. I get a little too close with my leadership corps here, so he's going to get a few shots in there, but no big deal. And I go ahead and pull them back, and just advancing the infantry line here. The Goblobber is very good. I like this a lot. I use it in my dwarf builds, so and you're going to see he's actually, with a little bit of help from the guns, going to be able to break these great swords before they even reach his line. So, you know, that's an expensive unit, 950, and the Goblobber, you know, does that much of a number on it. Still has a bunch of ammo and potentially a lot of time if they can defend it. So grenades coming in, and now there's some swordsmen to follow it up, as well as some great swords pouring into his lines. Dwarfs always tend to just take the charge rather than countercharge. I shoot this Quarreler on this side immediately, protecting my Outriders and everything else that I'm trying to do. I'm going to bring in the Flying Corps and try to take a stab at his Goblobber, see if I can get away with it. You can see I'm launching the grenades back here towards the Grumbling Guard. I'm doing that because, you know, they spread around a bit, and I don't want to blow my own guys to hell if I don't have to. I don't like the way that sentence started. But anyways, these guys have recovered. The Thunderers are having a little bit of line of sight issues. That's not uncommon when you're fighting dwarfs, so I'm not too torn up about it. So I hit the Goblobbers, and then I move on over here to hit the Quarrelers. Just want to finish these guys off, but the Dragonback Slayers get in very quick, and you know, obviously these guys are anti-large, and look at this, everybody gets away. He's on this little thing, right, like this, you know, they're on these big, you know, he's on a much bigger mount. He gets away, but I get caught on this little thing, and not good. Here in a bit I'm gonna have to use my potions while I'm waiting forever to get out of that mess. I've got great swords on his Runesmith here. This Runesmith on this side I haven't tried yet, but mainly it looks like he's winning the infantry battle, which you know, I'm not overly surprised. It just means I haven't got enough done with my handgunners and my grenade launchers and my flying crew yet, and I really need to push. I realize time is of the essence, so be a little more dangerous here and creep up closer with my Outriders, trying to get, you know, as much damage in here as I can. These grenades, though, are absolutely devastating. I mean, look at the health damage, not to mention the leadership damage. You know, on these beat up units, they're gonna run a little earlier than they would normally. And I'm constantly changing targets, whatever their meatiest target is. I put the Outriders on it. Sometimes I put the handgunners on the same thing, just trying to focus units down and get them off the board. So now I send the flying crew in to try to deal with the runesmith. I want to get one of these guys down because, you know, two of them, it's so many buffs and crap flying around. It's just you're much better served to deal with these guys as quickly as you can. Now he's bringing up the Dragonback Slayers. I have a pretty damn good feeling I know what he's after. It's my Outriders. I'm trying to leave them in to the last second to do as much damage as possible, and then I'm going to pull them out. These Slayers are. These Dragonback Slayers are very fast for a dwarf unit, but, you know, compared to Cav or something, forget about it. So I'm going to stall them for a bit with my leadership group. You know, obviously not a good matchup, but I don't want my guns and my grenadesmen, my Grenadiers there, to have to deal with all this. So I just kind of had to slow them down, cut them down to size a bit, and now, you know, they're down quite a few models. And I'm going to pull out. I took enough damage, especially on my leader and the Amber Wizard. Tends to leave the Empire Captain alone. He's going to try to pull them back. I'm going to shoot them in the back and toss grenades in the last blob of his here. Now, I have 2 units here. He has 4, so I figured, you know, if I lose some guys, he's going to lose more than I do. But his Goblobber is still just wrecking with 123 kills. And, you know, it's not until quite late I realize how effective that thing's been. And I'm going to try to get rid of this other runesmith. I didn't finish the first one because of the Dragonback Slayers. This one I'm going to try to finish, but pretty soon I'm going to pull it over to the Goblobbers. I'm just trying to do everything I can. So now his infantry on this side is completely unencumbered, as is the nearly dead runesmith and Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and they're all pushing towards me. So I leave the Outriders there as long as I can to fire. I'm trying to get these guys to shoot, and we can, you know, these weak units, I figure out they can kill them before they get there, but there's a lot of them. And so I'm going to bring in the flying crew to assist here and try to beat down the grumbling guard. Retreating units I'm trying to bring back as quickly as I can. And to be honest here, I probably should have backed off sooner with my handgunners. But I try to stay in the pocket. I'm just thinking, this guy's got a break, you know. I'm shooting the hell out of the thing. Runesmith's getting beat up. I'm grenading the Grumbling Guard. But these dwarfs are like zombie dwarfs. They fight to the last man. And they're going to come in here and start to make a mess out of my handgunners across the front. So I'm like, ah, crap, you know. And I don't want to launch grenades into there because, you know, most of the models that are still up are mine. So I'm going to put the flying crew on Thorgrim. With how weak his units are, I'm thinking killing him should be enough to break it all down. I gave a bad command to my Outriders. They got in the mix, but it did at least give enough pause for these boys to pull out, and he felt it necessary to pull these guys in to try to save the High King. So that works out in my favor for sure. I'm going to try to get a shot in here before I have to pull back again. These guys, you know, they don't fire immediately. You know, there is definitely a delay there. They get them off just in time, and it looks like they're going to be able to fend that off. My gunners, my handgunners, are shooting at anything and everything they can. Want to get rid of this runesmith. Some point-blank action might work. He brings in the other runesmith, but at the same time, Thorgrim just died. And as you can see, that gives me a big bump here. And that's going to allow me to bring these boys over to help out with the remnants of my handgunning crew. Because they still have a lot of ammo left. They don't need a lot of health. The ammo is what's going to keep them in it. And I decide, you know, this guy's the Longbeards are far enough back that I can get away with grenading them without killing my men too much. That works out. So they're going to run for the hills. And now the only thing that stands between myself and victory is this little runesmith here. So he's going to get lumped on by the big boys here. They're going to run around on his body and whatnot. And I even have the gun shooting into him. trying to finish him. He pulls up his Gobblehopper crew after many salvos of nades. They don't want anything, and that is going to be a win. Empire. So, good game to my opponent. That was a very entertaining battle. I feel he played very well. He brought a good composition, and it was definitely a challenge, and I appreciate all those things. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The swordsmen were horribly underwhelming. I knew their lack of armor piercing, was going to mean they weren't going to be that great, but they kind of did worse than I thought they would, especially for such a long battle. Great swords did well, not really well though. I'd like to see more kills. Yeah, I know you only brought 732, but these should be closer to here and not down here. Of course, this is the one that got gunned down, I'm guessing. So these are alright, but I'd like it to be better. Handgunners did great. The leadership crew, Amber Wizard was fantastic. Empire Captain did his thing. General did his thing. I was reasonably pleased. I hate having to bring the big mount, but you have to bring it if you want the armor piercing. So, that's just kind of how it works. The Outriders with grenade launchers, though, were the stars of the show with 124 and 92 stunties killed, respectively. And they're just a lot of fun to play with. I haven't used these in a long time. They're going to be a staple, I think, in my anti-dwarf build here because they did great. And like I said, it's so much fun to play. Taking a look at my opponent's army, his Longbeards did very, very well. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, no. Grumbling Guard, not so much. Dragonback Slayers, that number's deceptive. He beat some serious HP out of my flying crew, so he definitely did his job, and he gave me pause from attacking the Gobblehopper much, which allowed it to get 131 kills. And his Quarrelers, 3 guns on 2 bows, he's kind of at a disadvantage there, so they did not do too well. His Runesmiths, did what they do. Getting some kills is just a bonus. And pretty much the same thing with Thorgrim, although I would have expected more kills out of him. So anyways, if you enjoyed the battle, you learned something, or you just feel like being a nice guy, hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It is appreciated. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.